Wonders of the ancient world shall never cease to amaze us, as yet another amazing discovery has been made. This is the discovery of a young boy's mummy in Egypt, the home of ancient wonders. Watch till the end as we explore this amazing discovery in a secret world. Recently, scientists discovered a young boy from ancient Egypt who tragically died and was mummified. This mummy was decorated with 49 protection amulets and given a golden mask to help him navigate the afterlife. When they utilized computerized tomography scans to digitally unwrap the mummified golden boy's corpse without damaging it, they uncovered the amulets placed on and within the body. Computerized tomography, CT, scans are commonly used in the study of Egyptian mummies. The scans produce detailed, cross-sectional images of the mummy's internal structure, allowing researchers to see inside the mummy without damaging its delicate exterior. This non-invasive method has revealed new information about the mummy's age, health, and cultural practices. CT scans have also been used to study mummies in the context of ancient diseases, providing insight into the evolution of medicine and human health. Additionally, kinetic scans have been used to identify and preserve the contents of mummies' tombs, including textiles, jewelry, and other artifacts. The remains were initially discovered in 1916 at a cemetery in southern Egypt called Nag el-Hassai, which was utilized between roughly 332 BC and 30 BC. Many of the thousands of mummified bodies that were discovered in Egypt during the 19th and early 20th centuries were kept in their actual coffins before being transported to the Egyptian Museum in Cairo. The mummy was transported into the museum's basement after being discovered like many others, but it was never analyzed. Unwrapping mummified remains is a damaging operation, even though scholars are eager to learn so much about ancient human health as well as ancient Egyptian funeral customs and beliefs. This is because it can cause physical damage to the mummy and its wrappings, such as tearing, breaking, or loss of material. The process of unwrapping often involves removing or disturbing the original burial arrangements, which can cause irreparable harm to the cultural and historical context of the mummy. Also, the removal of the wrappings can expose the mummy to light, air, and moisture, which can cause deterioration and degradation of the remains and the artifacts associated with them. That is why, in recent years, researchers have used CT scans to peer beneath the wrappings while leaving the bodies entirely intact. 2 nested coffins held the remains of the golden boy. The interior wooden sarcophagus exhibited designs and a gilded face, while the exterior casket was plain and etched with Greek letters. Researchers discovered 49 amulets with 21 different designs when they scanned the mummy. These included a golden tongue placed inside the mouth and a golden heart scarab placed in the chest, which the ancient Egyptians thought might help with the afterlife transition. The teenage boy, estimated to be between the ages of 14 and 15, also wore a protective covering known as a cartonnage across his torso and a gilded head mask with stones embedded in it. Apart from his heart, all of his organs had been taken and his brain had been substituted with resin. The ancient Egyptians had a strong belief in the afterlife and took elaborate steps to ensure a comfortable existence for their deceased in the next world. Some of the key beliefs and practices include embalming, or the mummification process, which involved preserving the body through the use of salt, herbs, and resins, which was performed to ensure the preservation of the body for the afterlife. Next are the funerary rites, which involved various ceremonies and offerings, including the provision of food, clothing, and other necessities for the deceased in the afterlife. Then comes the custom of burial. The ancient Egyptians believed that body and soul had to be reunited in the afterlife. Hence, they placed great importance on proper burial and interment practices. In recent times, we have seen tombs and pyramids all over Egypt. The construction of elaborate tombs and pyramids was an important aspect of preparing for the afterlife. These structures were believed to protect the deceased and provide a place for the soul to reside. Then came the Book of the Dead. This was a collection of spells and prayers intended to guide the deceased through the afterlife and ensure their safe passage to the next world. The ancient Egyptians believed in a complex pantheon of gods and goddesses, some of whom were associated with the afterlife, such as Anubis, Osiris, and Isis. These beliefs and practices formed the cornerstone of ancient Egyptian religion and helped shape their culture, art, and architecture for thousands of years. The ancient Egyptians presumed that after death there would be another life, but getting there would involve a perilous journey across the underworld. To get to Osiris and the Hall of Final Judgment, the deceased's spirit had to battle other gods, mysterious monsters, and guardians, all through the underworld voyage. They would argue their case for going to the afterlife here. Following a study that was published on Tuesday in the journal Frontiers in Medicine, embalmers took special care to prepare bodies for this journey, and the Golden Kid was well prepared for the journey. Dr. Sahar Salim, a professor at the Faculty of Medicine of Cairo University and the study's author, stated, "Here we show that this mummy's body was extensively decorated with 49 amulets, beautifully stylized in a unique arrangement of 3 columns between the folds of the wrappings and inside the mummy's body cavity. These include the Eye of Horus, the Scarab, the Akhet Amulet of the Horizon, the Placenta, the Knot of Isis, and others. Many were made of gold, while some were made of semi-precious stones, fired clay, or faience. Their purpose was to protect the body and give it vitality in the afterlife." Looking at the mummy, one would see that white sandals had been placed on his feet, and his body was decorated with ferns. Salim explained the significance of the sandals this way. He said, "The sandals were probably meant to enable the boy to walk out of the coffin. According to the ancient Egyptians' ritual Book of the Dead, the deceased had to wear white sandals to be pious and clean before reciting its verses." He further explained, ancient Egyptians were fascinated by plants and flowers and believed they possessed sacred and symbolic effects. Bouquets of plants and flowers were placed beside the deceased at the time of burial. The scans revealed the boy was 4.2 feet, 128 centimeters, tall with an oval-shaped face, a small nose, and a thin chin, although they did not show what caused his death. His name is unidentified, but the study suggests that he had a high socioeconomic standing based on his amulets, excellent mummification, and good dental hygiene. There was a golden tongue amulet placed within the boy's mouth, and this was to help him speak in the afterlife. The Isis knot amulet meant that the goddess Isis would protect the boy's body. The spiritual and material parts of existence were symbolized by amulets made from ostrich and falcon feathers. A 2-finger amulet, shaped like the index and middle fingers of the right hand, was found in his lower torso to protect his embalming incision. And the golden scarab beetle was thought to help in the arduous underworld. Salim further explained that the heart scarab is mentioned in chapter 30 of the Book of the Dead. It was important in the afterlife during judging the deceased and weighing of the heart against the feather of the goddess Mut. He further said that the heart scarab silenced the heart on Judgment Day so as not to bear witness against the deceased. It was placed inside the torso cavity during mummification to substitute for the heart if the body was ever deprived of this organ. Like in many modern religions, a person needed to prove their worthiness to enter the afterlife. As the seat of intelligence and the source of memory, the heart was very significant to the ancient Egyptians. It was the only organ that had survived the process of mummification. If the departed were to lose their hearts in the hereafter, heart scarab amulets were intended to serve as replacements. For instance, when someone passed away, a heart scarab was frequently placed on their heart and fastened beneath the mummy's bandages. To make sure that it could not be physically taken from their person, this was done. The religious significance of the scarab beetle, Scarabaeus sacra, and the heart scarab to the ancient Egyptians both contribute to their symbolic meaning. The scarab beetle stood for creation and rebirth. The beetle larvae nibble their way out of the dung balls where they were deposited as they develop and come to life. According to the Egyptians' views on rebirth and the afterlife, the beetles were seen as coming from emptiness into renewed life in this way. The experts were able to 3D print a replica of the heart scarab by gathering information using the CT scans. To shed further light on the mummification process and the ancient Egyptian funeral ceremonies, the Golden Kid has been relocated to the Egyptian Museum's main exhibition hall, where he will be enclosed by CT pictures and a replica of the heart scarab. The experts finally stated in their research that the display's goal was to humanize this individual from the past to teach modern people about life in ancient times. Judging from what has been revealed so far, they have done a pretty good job at making this reality for us. Thank you for watching. For more mysterious discoveries, kindly subscribe and turn on post notifications to be updated on our latest videos.